back again. Finally. It's going to be fun. It's going to be happy. I think we're going to have a good time. Hey there, Metal Faithful. Welcome to the Metal Podcast of the Radulich Broadcasting Network. That's right, boys and girls, we're back. Well, at least I'm back. This is the Metal Hammer of Doom podcast. My name is Robert Cooper. I'm usually your co-host. That's right. Usually I don't sit in the big chair like the man from New York. But unfortunately, he's not feeling all too great. So instead, I have hopped into his rather large chair. And with me is, of course, the host of a podcast in his own right. He hosts the Source Material podcast Monday nights here on the Radulich Broadcast Network on blogtalkradio.com. It's a fan-fucking-tastic podcast. His name is Mr. Jesse Starcher. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man, what's going on? You got pants on?
I do not.
All right. Well, then, by golly, I think you fit right into that chair pretty good, if you ask me. You're going to do just as good a job as Mark. As long as you ain't got pants on, I think you're fine.
Well, that's kind of like a given. If you're going to host a podcast on this network, you will not have pants and you will not have dignity. Unfortunately, they go hand in hand.
That's right, man. That is right. What's going on, dude?
Actually, today we're looking at an album that, I was not excited for, but I know tens of gajillions of people were. We're looking at the newest Faith No More album, Soul Invictus. If anybody's a Faith No More fan listening to this podcast for the first time, welcome. I remember last time we did a Mike Patton-centered podcast. It's up there in probably our top 20 shows, at least viewer-wise. Ratings-wise, we had 800-something listeners. It was nuts. Because, at this point on Blog Talk, if you hit 100, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't know where everybody went. Makes me a little sad, actually.
It makes, you sit there and you wonder if they've gone away, or if Blog Talk's just not reporting their stuff right. But obviously you guys have had some episodes that have been some hits here, at least in the past for sure. It seems to come in waves, not all at once, right at the beginning, and then all of a sudden, boom, 200, 300 listeners on a show. But
it's usually the big shows.
I hear you.
Yeah, I was looking through earlier, and I'm like, oh shit, that what was it, Nightwish last year did big numbers. Our newest Nightwish review actually hit 100, and our Typo Negative, I think, probably just hit over 200. That was nice.
That's freaking awesome. That's awesome.
That is. It is. But hey, it makes it worth that hour or so in a day. Out of a day to just kick back, talk with a buddy, and shoot the shit on music. But Faith Soul Invictus, I'm pretty sure it came out not too long ago. It was in the past month, and I remember it actually hit number 15 on the Billboard charts. That's pretty impressive.
I actually hopped on Billboard.com and I either searched top hard rock. I don't know if they have a top metal on Billboard. But anyway,
no, they don't. They don't care.
Okay, bastards. But it was number one, I think, in the hard rock section. So just like you said, there's a lot of people that are fans of Faith No More. You seem like you weren't too excited. I can tell you right now, I'm not as a big of a fan of Faith No More as you probably know a lot more about Faith No More than I do. So I hope to at least I listened to this album 4 or 5 times today. I can tell you that I at least know the songs that we're going to be talking about here. Aside from some of their hottest stuff way back in the day, I don't know much anything else past I think it was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, where I think they were on that soundtrack. So that's about as far as my memory goes. There's a couple. I know they're obviously popular for a couple big songs, but as for any of the albums, any of the stuff like the B-sides or whatever, sir, you're gonna educate me just like any other listener out there tonight.
See, I was never really into Faith No More. They were just one of those. I was like, oh, I heard they were a one-hit wonder band. Okay, And then as I went to community college, I ran into my friend Kevin Merrill. Hi, Kevin, if you're listening, you bastard. I did the Three Beards podcast with him for a while. He, if he were to have a deity in his life, it would be Mike Patton, the singer for Faith No More. And I've come to find out that Mike Patton does 40,000 side projects, but that main project, Faith No More, like, they are ascended to, like, the fucking outer realms of Valhalla. Like, all their albums are pretty good by what I hear. And the really funny thing is that they have, until, I'm trying to think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think until this album, they had quite literally just as many compilation albums as they did studio albums.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they did. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they did. Because they started out in what year was this? Let's see. Because they started out with the album We Care a Lot, which actually did not have. I don't think it had Mike Patton on vocals. If I'm not mistaken, it had Billy Gould. Billy Gould's their fucking bassist. Chuck Mosley. Chuck Mosley was their guy, and they kind of had it's kind of different. It was a little punkier, bit of a punkier album than their other ones. But they, as their albums went on, they of course got The Real Thing, and Epic became so fucking big. By what I've heard, Mike Patton funds all of his other bands and side projects and everything off of royalties from the song Epic.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's nuts. But it's a really fun song. I think From Out of Nowhere is one of their best ones, but I'm not really I'm not a huge expert on them. I should have invited Kevin. But then again, if we invited Kevin, we'd have been here all night. Because that man, after this album came out, like, his Facebook feed is like 100% Faith No More, which is what I kind of expected because, well, like, he's been talking about for years, like, he's been like, what if they get together and they do another album? That'd be the best thing ever. Like, my life would be complete. Like, and then now that this is out, I'm pretty sure he can, like, die happy. Like, big old meteor comes down from the earth. He can die with a smile because he's like,
we're talking.
Just came out.
What are we talking here? I mean, it was the little bit of research I saw. Tell me if I'm correct here. 1997 was the last album that these guys released. Is that right?
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, it was 97 Album of the Year. Don't you love when they name things with that sort of, like naming scheme, like, Album of the Year. Oh, look at the
Number one.
Yeah.
So now I'm not very familiar with that album, but I mean, what happened? Was there something that occurred that they broke up? Is that what occurred here? And they were like, screw it, we're done. Faith No More is no more, or did they just go on tours and just never had any more? No more inspiration to write songs up until now. Any idea?
I think it was. I'm just reading here because I think I've heard bits and pieces of it. I think just what happened is, like, they didn't really want to do it as much anymore. They had so many side projects to do. I think Jim Martin actually left the year before that last album came out. But in 2009, they came together to do some reunion stuff. And I think as it, as they've done more reunions, it's kind of like one of those times where a band gets together. You got like, it's kind of like having an ex-girlfriend. Like, you get together and realize all the good times you had, and you're like, hey, maybe we should get back in the saddle and try this again. And I think that's kind of what happened here with Soul Invictus. I still miss Jim Martin, which I've seen Jim Martin recently. He was at the 30th anniversary Metallica concert. Holy fuck. He did.
Oh, yeah?
He was totally. Yeah, because I don't know if you've ever seen him, but he I'll give you an example. You remember Faith No More guy from the ECW shows?
Oh, yeah.
That's it. It looks exactly like, that's how Jim Martin looked.
Okay, all right.
And now Jim Martin has, like, just short hair, no beard. Just looks like a normal guy. Yeah.
Normal dude. What is he doing his own side project, or he just leave, or what?
I don't think he's doing anything, actually. Let's go ahead and look here, because I don't think I heard he was just. Yeah, that's what I'm doing here, actually. Yeah, it says he. Yeah, he hasn't really done anything since like the early 2000s. Like he's just kind of, I think he's just done his thing. Just kind of kicked back and lived his life. That's fine. I mean, hey, when you've done music your whole life and you kind of want to stop, I think you can be allowed to. I mean, you don't necessarily have to.
I'm in the process of actually reading an article, bathroom reading, so that's why I say I'm in the process of it. It's a pretty long article, and it'll probably take me about 3 or 4 days. But anyway, it's a Rolling Stone article in regards to Who, and they're talking to, what's the name of the guitarist? Let's see, I already forgot his name.
What band?
The Who.
Oh, shit. Damn it.
See, I asked you. Now,
and
see,
we
everybody
just lost
out there is screaming at us right
we
now.
just lost all of our credit. See, I'm not a big classic rock guy. I'm not a big classic rock guy. I like classic rock, but this is my thing. What we're doing right here. Yeah, is it Pete Townsend?
Well, anyway, they're talking to him, and yeah, Pete Townsend. You're right. This is almost a very similar situation where I guess the Who haven't dropped an album in forever and a day. And, the guy who's interviewing him asked him, what the hell? A lot of listeners out there want to hear you guys produce a new studio album. And he's like, you know what? I think I've kind of earned my right to take a little bit of a vacation. I guess the early years of the Who were pretty rough. But, again, a band, somebody who invest their life into music, not just writing it and producing it, whatever, making the music and then going on tour. I would have, with a family, if you tried to have a family and go on tour, that's got to be one of the roughest things ever. So sometimes it's a good idea. I mean, I believe in the fact that it's a good idea to let life, take hold instead of focusing on this one thing. And maybe this guy, just like you said, he looks like an ordinary dude. Maybe that's what he wants to do for sure.
Hey, that's one of those, like, more power to him.
That's right.
Because yeah, I was seeing him at that Metallica show. I was like, holy shit, that's Jim Martin. I was like, well,
good deal.
Yeah. But he just kind of went and did his own thing. But I think just them touring together, doing those reunion tours, those festivals and stuff, everybody came together and was like, you know what, fuck it, we like doing this. Let's do it. And that's I think that's how we reached the point we're at now with Soul Invictus. Soul Invictus, it's an interesting album. Like I said, I came into it not necessarily like excited, which I know anybody listening is like, why the fuck are you doing this? How the fuck is this, then why are you doing this? You dumb bastard. And really, it was because Mark wanted to do it.
That's what I was going to say. This was Mark's baby here. It sounded like this was something that he wanted to do. And I hated the fact that he wasn't able to make it on here and talk about it.
Especially after last Thursday. He's like, hey, what happened? I'm like, what are you talking about, Mark? He's like, we had a podcast to do. I'm like, oh, shit, I thought that was next week.
Whoops. That happened.
Yeah, because usually I'm good about at least keeping the weeks together, but guess I missed the boat. Oops. But yeah, I'm kind of sad because this is what Mark wanted to do, and I think Mark loves him some faith no more. And it's kind of sad that he is unfortunately ill-disposed to do this podcast. And on his birthday, no less. Ill-disposed.
No shit, man. On his
Happy birthday, Mark.
Birthday,
you old bastard.
Yeah, before we get into anything here, I'm taking I'm taking Mark's space here. I uploaded a nice little quick little present for Mark. This is it's kind of sad not hearing his voice on Metal Hammer of Doom. Hopefully he comes back and listens to this. But I uploaded a little something special for him. So if you could give me just about a couple minutes here, I'm going to play a little something that I thought, it fit the bill. Now, the thing is that I've got to freaking find it now. Right there it is. All right. Give me just a couple. Bear with me, all right? You ready?
Oh, yeah.
3. All right, 3, 2, 1.
What's the matter, little friend? You think this party is the pit? Enjoy it while you can. We'll soon be blown to bits. The monkeys in the Pentagon are gonna cook our goose. The fingers on the button, all they need is an excuse. It doesn't take a military genius to see. We'll all be crispy critters after World War III. There's nowhere you can run to, nowhere you can hide. When they drop the big one, we all get fried. Come on, boys and girls, sing along, okay? Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday! Happy birthday to you! Wow!
That was like a manual fade too, man. I'm manually fading that song out. That's unbelievable. Happy birthday, Mark Radulich.
Yeah. Happy birthday to you. Yeah.
I
love how we.
That was Weird Al Yankovic.
No, yeah, I could tell by the polka.
All right, man. I felt I should get that out of the way, and please proceed, sir.
Oh, good. Okay. So, yes, the point where we're at now, you're saying Soul Invictus. I wasn't super-duper excited, but I guess you can probably chalk it up to Faith No More fatigue. Over the years, I've been like, okay, Faith No More. And now finally this is here. I'm like, okay, Kevin, now you can go dance about it. So, I heard about this album coming out. I heard about all the singles. I'm like, okay. I didn't really plan on listening to it just because, there's lots of albums throughout the year that I'm like, okay, this is coming out, and then it kind of just goes under my radar. I got so much to do. It's ridiculous. But then Mark's like, okay, we're going to do Soul Invictus. I'm like, okay, this is a good excuse for me to listen to this album. And I'll say, listening to this album, I didn't necessarily expect to be impressed.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say that I left, super impressed, but I left entertained. There's a lot of really catchy things in this album, and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fun to be had, and there's a certain mix of weirdness, and a certain little mix of weird and occasionally serious that kind of leaves me going okay. Plus, yes, Mike Patton is God. He's a very, very talented man. So luckily there was no scat vocals on this album, so I can listen to it without being like, I feel like I need to appreciate this.
Is that something that he's famous for, is scat?
He can do scat. And a lot of his side stuff, like Mr. Bungle, and I forget some of the names of them because he's got a lot of side projects. He's got one that's all in Italian, like 60s Italian pop. I want to say that's what it is. Yeah, he's got Mr. Bungle, Phantomos, which there was one of those albums at a used CD store around here that I almost bought, and it's a one-track 70-minute album about surgery.
It's about surgery.
I think it was about surgery, if I'm not mistaken. See, Tomahawk, of course. Yeah, Tomahawk was we reviewed them last year, I think. That was a pretty fun little album. And then I think it was Peeping Tom, the Italian one? No, I don't remember which one. No, Peeping Tom. But yeah, he does one that's straight up Italian, 60s pop music or something like that. And I remember just thinking what?
This, Jello Biafra and the Guantanamo School of Medicine. That's what in the world?
It was Mondo Cane. That's what it was. It mixes Italian pop music from the 50s and 60s with easy listening stuff.
In this album, this is probably again, this is probably the first ever time I've ever had a chance to listen to a Faith No More album straight through. And one of the things that we will notice, at least I felt it, a lot of these songs had genre changes. One song would be okay, all right, as long as I'm not alone in that boat, because that's what it felt like listening to a lot of this album. And this guy is all over the place. He's got freaking, you say he's got jazz pop shit going on. No wonder it feels like it's influenced. I don't know if this is influenced or that stuff has influenced this. I have no idea. Obviously, it's Mike Patton. I think it's kind of
some of they're kind of allowed to do with it whatever the hell they want, because I mean this is kind of proof that you can look at Faith No More as being a lot more than epic, because a lot of people just think, okay, epic, that's it, that's a fun song, everybody loves it, but I think this album really does show that they bring a lot more to the table than epic. Like, they have a lot of kind of more jazzy, bluesy stuff, so maybe some a little bit of odd, a little bit of alt metal, some experimental stuff. It's really interesting, and I think Mike Patton, he's got a lot of interesting hobbies and side projects. So he does a really good job of help direct the band. I know this. Let's see. Yeah, the guitarist they have is named John Hudson. I don't think I've seen much more about him. This is where Kevin would have come in handy. But he was with them after Jim Martin left. So this is more or less like the last known lineup before they broke up, getting back together, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, so, trying to think. Yeah, something like that. Okay. But yeah,
1997, and now it's 2015. 18 years later, we got Soul Invictus, which, I was kind of curious about the title of the album, and I just looked it up online because I knew it had to have meant something. Apparently, that means Unconquered Sun, which, as to what language, that's Latin.
Roman.
I would imagine. Roman? Thank you.
Well, yeah, it's Latin, because what it is, see, here's the funny thing. When I looked up Soul Invictus on Wikipedia, that's what it brought me to. So, it's apparently it was like the a late Roman deity of the sun, or like, so when they worship the sun, that's what the kind of like the concept that they used behind it was Soul Invictus, the unconquered sun.
Okay. You feel that has anything to do with the album?
I'm not really sure. Well, I mean, we can name an album "Shit on a Stick" for all I know, but the song "Soul Invictus" it does. We'll listen to that in a second. It does talk a lot about the, Lord and God and heaven, and it's interesting, and it's not really looking at it in terms of a more. It's not looking at it as more of a religious thing, but it sounds like it's more looking at it symbolically. Like it's talking about, I don't know which God is my wine. I love that line. I think that's a really funny line. Because, I live here in the Bible Belt. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I do. Oh, a fun place to live. There's a church every 10 feet. It really is.
I have a church probably within, if I had a pretty good arm, I could probably throw a stone right behind the house. What's strange is I've lived, before settling down here, I've probably moved quite a bit, and there was always a church within walking distance of where I lived. So I feel you, buddy. Bible Belt all the way.
Maybe that's like the cogs in the celestial machine, making sure that you are staying on the right path.
That has come up, dude. That seriously has come up. Me and my wife have actually talked about that, because it's not like we went searching for places with churches right by. There was always we moved into an apartment in West Virginia, stayed 9 months there, church right across the street. But yeah, that's you never know. It works in mysterious ways, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. So. But let's see. We can go ahead and play the first song. We'll talk more about it when we get back from there. So you can just go ahead and hit it. Just to sound.
All right, here we go, man. Rock and roll.
Yeah.
Remember which God is my wife. Can't repent if I'm wrong, impartial. Do ritual
All right. Soul
Did you-
Invictus, man.
Do
Manual
you do
fade.
that by hand?
Manual fade.
I am in. This is why I let you do that. Damn, I was thinking, is he doing that by hand? That's good. Good job.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
You'll be here all week, right?
That's right.
Heck, it probably does feel like that considering what you were here yesterday. You're here today. You'll be here. You'll be here.
Yesterday was 2.5 hours of talking comics. So, yes, sir. I swear I got up just a few minutes ago and then hopped right back on Blog Talk.
Oh, well, hey, like I said, when we eventually do our episode in, September, we'll be here a while.
Oh, boy.
Well,
I look forward to that, man.
We're going to be doing a whole series, so that ain't 5 comics.
I'll be ready.
Oh, good, because I've been reading Vinland Saga as well, and, oh, Jesus, so good. Oh, so good. But anyways, yeah, But anyways, so Soul Invictus, what did you think of the opening track?
Piano. That is obviously what this band, just from some of the more popular songs that I've listened to, that it's still prevalent. Apparently, that is almost like their calling card. But it definitely did not feel like a metal song to me right at the beginning. I listened to this album on Spotify. At the end of the album, it goes right into the next album that's on there, which is Album of the Year. And just comparing that opening song with this opening song, I can't remember the name of the song. I could pop on Spotify and tell you, but it grabs you right there. It's called Collision on Album of the Year, and it's heavy and it's fast paced. Now this is definitely not fast paced at the beginning. This is almost a little bit of a lullaby. Now as for the lyrics themselves, just like you had mentioned, there's a little bit of spirituality in the lyrics, but it's kind of like it's been 18 years, and we don't want to scare our listeners away. We kind of want to wean them into this album, and that's my take on the first song here. So
I could see that angle to it. I thought it was really kind of a interesting thing to start on, because I was kind of expecting. I guess I was expecting a little more. I almost want to say some bombast in this album. Like some really weird and just kind of crazy, and maybe a little more metal, I'll admit. But I think this was probably what we should have expected, right? Something like this. It did a really good job of setting up an atmosphere for the album. It wasn't a bad song by any means. I actually think it was a fairly good song in terms of setting. Yeah, it set up a nice tone for the album, a really nice precedence for something that we can look forward to. I liked Patton's vocals. They sounded really nice. It had a nice little hook to it. Yeah, it was a decent song. I liked it. Maybe not quite what I was looking for, but then again, we know my taste at this point.
It definitely is not black metal.
No. Well, actually, funny thing is, I've been listening to a lot of Doom lately, so that kind of it did fall right into what I've been doing lately. But I do like it.
One of these days, it doesn't have to happen this year because I know you guys got the schedule out. But Spiritual Beggars, at some point, I would love to get on here, either do a career retrospective with you guys. If that's ever possible. You're pretty familiar with those guys because I know, obviously, we talk of what's the name of that band that the lead singer goes into?
Oh, Grand Magus?
Yes. So you're familiar with, obviously, so I assume you're familiar with Spiritual Beggars as well, right?
Of course.
All right. One of these days, man, if you guys haven't, I don't think you guys have done that already, but...
No, we were going to once, but I think that was one of those times where it just kind of hit a point to where I think we just couldn't do it at the moment. I forget what happened. Yeah, that was was it 2 years ago? Yeah. We were at like some point where it's like Mark kept having to cancel, so we missed doing that. I think we missed Kill Switch Engage too. That made me sad. I love Kill Switch Engage.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
You mentioned the vocals. It doesn't feel like this guy's missing a beat after 18 years. You agree?
Oh no. Well, how can he? He releases like 30 albums a year.
Well, I mean, you'd think after 18 years that would take its toll. Granted, he's not screaming, but still, if we were just talking about Spiritual Beggars, I listened to a very recent album of theirs, and if you listen to that and compare it to a couple years before, well, maybe 3 or 4 years before, I almost had to look to see if they had changed lead singers.
Well, they did.
Okay, well then there's your answer, sir.
Yeah,
They did?
Yeah. Oh, shit, what is his name from? I remember that guy's name from Grand Magus. JB from Grand Magus. He was on their. I think he was on a few of their albums, but the singer that they have recently is from Gus G's band. Fire. Damn, I am just not doing well today. Yeah, JB
It's 10:30 at night. It's all right.
JB Christopherson was their singer. He got replaced by the guy from Firewind. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Yeah, let me look up the guy's name.
Okay,
Yeah.
well then I guess that's a very bad comparison.
Yeah, Apollo Papafanozio. Yeah, that's Greek. Yeah, he was the singer from Gus G of now Ozzy Osbourne and Firewind fame. He was Firewind singer until 2013, and then I think he became the Spiritual Beggars, or actually he joined Spiritual Beggars full time, I think. So yeah.
Well, I have learned something tonight. Obviously, I should probably Wikipedia that before I get on. Before I start talking about changing singers. Obviously, they're different. There's a reason why they sound different.
You're like, man, I don't know. You're just like, man, I really don't know why he sounds so different.
Dude, like, seriously, I'm sitting there, I'm like, this guy blew his voice out. What the hell happened? This guy was... I seriously thought that he was... And most likely, I probably looked at something that wasn't updated, because I remember specifically looking to see if there was a lineup change. I bet you I was looking at Spotify's biography, and either that wasn't mentioned or it was an update, one or the other. But again, the lead singer here, Matt, he's obviously, or Mike, sorry, I call him Matt, Mike Patton, or Matt Piketon. We'll call him Matt Piketon. He definitely sounds just like I remember, back 18 years ago.
His voice has done a great job of just keeping his voice healthy. They say he is a phenomenal talent, because he can go like really low and really high, and like that. The dude.
Yeah, there's definitely vocal range on this album.
Yeah, he can. He is as advertised. That is definitely agree with that. But yeah, that's a really good song. Let's go ahead and go to the second song. Yeah, that's my second song. We'll just go ahead and just keep the ball rolling. It's been almost 40 minutes. We've done one song.
Oh, come on, man. That's the way we roll around here.
We haven't even brought up the library yet.
Save that for the end. We got about half hour overrun, and we'll just do nothing but library talk.
All right, and then it'll cut off on us.
So, yeah, Blog Talk hates that.
Yeah, Blog Talk hates public libraries. Yeah, the second track here on the album is called Superhero. So you can go ahead and fade that in there, I guess. Or
What's fading in? I don't know if I can do that. I will
I'm messing with you. Yeah.
All right, hold on just a second. Here we go.
Go, 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 go. Go, go, go. Yeah, all this reminds me of is all the goes. I've been watching a bit of DDT wrestling over the past, well, really this year, which is, Japan's comedy promotion.
This is the one where the dude
couldn't
make a sound.
Yes.
Is this the one? Okay, all right, yeah.
Did I tell you about this?
I've heard. I think you talked about it on the podcast because I know I heard it. You were talking about it. I can't remember if I was talking with you or if you were on the podcast talking about it. That is some funny shit.
Yeah, that match is on Daily Motion too.
Yes.
The silence match is one of my favorite things. Oh, it's so funny. But yeah, they had one wrestler who I think I talked about. I'm sure I talked about it on that podcast. Where his gimmick was that he thinks he's a movie star. So every time he comes in, he has these glasses that have star-shaped lenses, and they light up. And he comes out with a song called Tokyo Go. I don't remember who does it, but I'm pretty sure it's a white guy doing Japanese pop in the 90s. But it's always like, I want to see you go. I want to make you go. I want to hear you go. I want to see you go. Go, 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 go. I walked around my house doing that for hours one day. But during the match, he would stop every time and put the glasses on, and then the music would come on. And yeah, I want to say his name is Kazuta Hirata, maybe? Let's find out here. Yeah, I want to say it's Kazuta Hirata, because he's funny as hell. Kazuya Hirata, yeah. Funny as shit, I think.
Yeah, I've got to watch some of that stuff, man.
I know his name's Hirata, yeah. But it's really funny. Well, during the match, it was Kazuki. Okay, there we go. Kazuki Hirata. There we go. During the match, they would stop, and like Akibono was in the match, and he put on the glasses too. But every time, like somebody would pick the glasses up in the middle of the match, look at him, and look around, he'd put them on and start dancing. Like some, freaking what's Das Funderkind right in the middle of the match and start dancing. It sounds like he's got props. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. Me and my buddy started watching WCW Greed 2001. Oh, it was bad. The first two matches, I could at least say like, oh, there's a few good spots there, and the rest of them, I'm like, oh. Oh, it was. So we got to see Kwee-Wee, and that made my day.
Oh, my goodness.
Kwee-Wee.
That, You know, there's a couple. I always wondered where they're at. I wonder where Norman Smiley was too.
The big wiggle.
Always wonder about old Ralphus if he's still around. Or
Ralphus was a truck driver.
Like for WCW.
No, I think he might have been. Yeah, I read Jericho's biography about 6 times because that was bathroom reading for me. It was sitting outside my bathroom for 2 years. So yeah,
you couldn't bring another. You read it 6 times. 6 times.
Once
you
backwards.
Couldn't bring in like. Oh man! All right then.
Yeah, and I've not even read his newest one yet. Even though I'm getting kind of tired of him on social media. He's a bit of a.
I do not follow him. I don't think. I do not.
He's being a bit
do you listen to his podcast or anything?
Not much. I know. I've heard his regular podcast is okay. Those WWE ones he does, I'm like, Jesus Christ. If you were kissing the ass any harder, he'd leave lipstick marks.
I wonder if that shit was... Obviously, if it's on the network, I don't trust that one bit, to be honest. I really don't.
I feel like the Stone Cold podcast felt pretty legit. That felt like a shoot interview.
I listened to a few of those before the network hit and before they started putting it on the network, but I've not had the opportunity to listen to anything.
Yeah, the Stone Cold ones are pretty good, I think. I like them. But the Jericho one, yeah, they're pretty good. But the Jericho one, I'm just like, some of them feel a little kiss assy because he's a real big WWE apologist on Twitter. He's always kind of kissing the ass. Like, damn, Jericho. I
did have the opportunity. Did I tell you about actually getting to see Fozzy down here over in Parkersburg?
Oh, did you?
Yeah, dude.
Nice.
That guy, I mean, Chris Jericho is a motherfucking machine, man. I mean, all over. I mean, it wasn't a big venue either. I mean, very, very small venue. But he was all up and down the side, the walls over here and the fans over here singing. I mean, best spot of the night, if you want to call it that, of the concert was when he runs over, and of course somebody's got a camera and they're sitting there filming him, and he actually hands the microphone over to that dude, and that dude's belting out the lyrics while Jericho grabs the cell phone and runs around and records the fucking fans, and then comes back, holds it up, and sings with the guy on the cell phone with him. That dude has a video that's got to be fucking amazing. But yeah,
I'm very jealous.
Oh man, it rocked. And granted, I only knew. I mean, first song right out the gate was "Start a War," or "Let's Start a War," whatever that. Yeah, I mean that's right out the gate. He gets that out of the way, just like the old adage says. Let's start with our most popular song so we can get that piece of shit out of the way. But he started out with that, and there was a lot of. I wasn't very familiar with Fozzy, but I can tell you right now, as a performer, that guy is off the fucking hook. I mean, I don't know how many Red Bulls the guy drinks before a concert, but there was nothing left. It's not like the guy slowed down at all. So it was a very entertaining concert, and fun to watch. And it was cool because our local wrestling promotion, Remix, they got those guys down here, and I thought, man, the place would be packed. As small as the venue was, it wasn't very bad at all. It's kind of sad, actually, but still, I got to fucking see Fozzy, man.
Hey, that is awesome. I'm very jealous.
It's fun stuff.
I wish I got to see Fozzy.
I think I might have like 3 pictures too. That's something that I got to go see. Hung out there that whole night. The bands that were on prior to that were actually pretty good. I really didn't take a whole lot of photos, but man, he comes out with a light up jacket, and yeah, that's no joke, dude. He's got the light up jacket, sings the first song on the light up jacket, and then takes the jacket off, and then fucking rocks the house the rest of the fucking way. But yeah, good shit, good stuff.
Yeah, Yeah, so, well, speaking of good shit, good song, any thoughts on Superhero besides our wrestling tangent?
Yeah. Well, lyrically, you know, looking at this song, a superhero is somebody you look up to, but for some reason it feels like this is something that he's making out to be a bad thing. Like, you know, just listening to the lyrics that we heard, leader of men, get back in your cage. Will you be one of them? Now, reading that, it makes me feel like, okay, well, being a leader, somebody that's, you know, somebody that's taking charge is not somebody that he's actually looking up to. And it could be somebody that's just got a big ego. With the S on your chest, you're feeling like a god, you know. But that's kind of the sense. But I'll tell you right now, this has got the spot for number one off this album to me. There's another song. I think there's another song on here that's really good. But I think this is, for me, this is the best song off this album.
Yeah, I think it's up there. It's a fun song. It's really catchy, kind of bouncy. I like it.
It's good.
Yeah. So let's see, next song. We can go ahead and move on to that one. So for Superhero, which I thought was a really nice, fun, bouncy song, go, we're going to go to Sunny Side Up, third track off this album.
How do you like your eggs?
Sunny Side Up.
Oh, shit. All right, let's rock and roll.
I'll be your leprechaun. Shamrock, a lucky charm. Whoa, yeah. Tap dancing all alone. It's okay. Dip into the sugar bowl. Whoa, yeah. Sunny side up. Sunny side up. Got to love the way to start the day. Sunny side up. Sunny side up. Not the only way to fry an egg. Sunny side up. I am just your greatest fan on your page. With all of my heart, got all my heart. I'm drop of rain through your head.
Sunny side up.
They said that a lot of times.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. This is one of those songs for me. It feels like kind of like a little bit of a genre change at the beginning, but it's nice to see him get heavy there in the middle.
Yeah.
That was welcome in my opinion.
Oh yeah, a little heaviness never hurts. Unless one of those core bands that are like, oh, brutal. Bands make me roll my eyes.
An eye roller.
Yeah. Well, most of them are okay. You know, I always love some heaviness, but sometimes you can overdo it with douchiness.
That's true.
Nobody likes
absolutely true.
Nobody likes a douchebag.
That's right.
That's right. Unless you're like a teenage girl, and you swoon over those things. I don't understand teenage girls.
Well, buddy, in about 3 years, I'm going to be saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't understand 10-year-olds. So I mean, that's then once the teenager years hit, like, I don't know if I can do podcasting anymore because I will actually probably just live in the basement. I will lock myself in the fucking laundry room. Call back.
So you're just gonna do to you what my mom did to me. That was God, I'm not gonna say I almost forgot about that because you never really forget that. Oh no.
Well, shit. I mean, if you walk into the laundry room and you see the spot where you slept, that's probably tough to forget.
Well, yeah, considering my laundry room's about the size of a fucking closet. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, you should just lock yourself in the laundry room. I mean, it doesn't sleep really super well, but I think you can pull it off.
I'm a big dude, but hey, I tell you what, if the washer and dryer are put together, do we at least have that in there?
What, in mine?
Yeah, washer and dryer put together.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're side by side.
I'll stretch right out on top of that and go right to sleep.
Oh, good thinking. Oh, I didn't even think of that. I just sleep catty-cornered at like an angle.
Oh, well, it might get a little uncomfortable after about an hour of laying on top of the cold, hard metal. But give it a shot.
Well, cold, hard metal is what we do here. So.
Oh, my horns are in the air right now.
Yeah, that's right. Metal. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a fun song. I'm not gonna say it's the greatest. It's just one of those kind of their songs, but genre-wise, I felt like it was pretty nice. It was a nice little change of pace in there in the middle.
What would you call that slow stuff at the beginning? Would you call that like? I mean, he's so heavy on the piano. That's prevalent in I think every song we're going to hear. But the piano takes center stage in a few songs. For sure, and that's this one in particular. Let me tell you what I saw. I was doing a little bit of research today, and there was a YouTube video of them performing this song. Apparently, the guy used it as evidence in order to change the lyrics that were being reported on this page. But regardless, Faith No More is all dressed in white, all right, and they're on the stage, but performing this song, and there's a fucking disco ball hanging down from the top of the ceiling, and it almost felt like they were fucking performing at a wedding or some shit. This was the show apparently in Philly. You can find this on YouTube, but I mean, I definitely wouldn't call this disco in any way, but it was just kind of odd to see that. Anyway, do you have any suggestion as what you'd call it, how they open this song up? Is it like jazz? Would you call that an influence of jazz or something?
It's kind of bluesy in style, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like it's kind of bluesy because it's got that. It's got the piano. It's almost a drag. The style of it, the sound of it, almost kind of. It feels like it drags a bit, but not in like oh it's boring, but. It kind of like that weight that comes behind that you'll find on all jazz tunes. Blues. I'd say it's kind of bluesy there. It's what I'd call it. I'd wager to say. I reckon.
All right. You reckon? I reckon. I can get on board with that.
I reckon. Some people call it swing blade. I call it a cutter blade.
Give me some of them French fried taters.
French fried potatoes. I do. Yeah. There was a guy that got fired at work, but he was the only person that he was the only guy that got sling blade references that made my day.
And now he's gone.
He was gone months ago. He accidentally ran into a guy's truck with a forklift.
Oh shit!
And then he had to take a drug test, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm done."
Mm-hmm.
He's
See you
like,
later.
I'm screwed.
It was nice knowing you guys.
He's like, "Yeah." So it looks better if you quit rather than being fired for the doobie.
Indeed, sir.
The doobie. But yeah, this song was there. It's decent. It's got some nice parts to it, but it's nothing I'll really remember.
Mm-hmm.
But can't win them all. So I guess we can now go ahead and move on to the song that was named after that Spider-Man game that one time.
Oh my gosh, that reference was. I was waiting to play the song and do the reference. Yeah. Last night we were talking Maximum Carnage on source material, and here we got a fucking song called Separation Anxiety. So that was like, wait a second, I can tie that in. Did you ever play that game?
I did not.
How about Maximum Carnage?
I heard enough about it. I didn't have wasn't that Super Nintendo or was that Genesis?
Well, I think it came out on both. You'll remember it as the red cartridge. Like,
yeah.
Maximum Carnage had the red cartridge. But yeah. Well, I can tell you that was, you're familiar with the Angry Video Game Nerd?
Of course. It fucking sucks and it's sucking fucks.
Well, I made the reference last night about how LJN, the fucking Rainbow, has ruined so many games, but LJN had their hands on Maximum Carnage, and it's actually a very decent game. It's not bad at all. It's very similar to, you're probably familiar with the, like Fatal Fury, where you're walking and fighting at the same time. That's
yeah,
exactly,
like the beat 'em ups.
There you go. But anyway, okay, I stole your thunder with the Separation Anxiety. You want me to go ahead and play it?
You can.
Here we go, rock and roll.
That's kind of what I was expecting from this album. It was kind of really kind of bassy, really kind of catchy. Honestly, those vocals sounded like they were kind of out of Marilyn Manson's closet, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd agree with that for sure. And that what we just played for you is pretty much a song. I think does it get heavier at the end? I can't remember if it does.
Yeah. I don't quite remember. I remember one of them got really heavy at the end.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's this one or not, but I mean, the bulk of the song, we played just about half of it there, a little bit less than half, but I mean, the bulk of the song is definitely what we just heard.
Yeah.
This might be the worst song for me on the album. Here's the thing, and I'll touch on this at the end too. All the songs on here, just like you said at the beginning, it's a decent album. And me saying that this is the worst song does not mean that this is the song that I'm going to skip. There's many albums out there where I'm like, fuck that song, that's not going on the Spotify playlist. For a lot of different bands and a lot of different albums. This album, I thought, going into it blindly, I'm like, man, I'm not going to like this album at all. I'm not a big, I don't know these guys, and I've never been a huge fan of their sound. I don't like the song, but again, I shouldn't say I don't, I don't mind the song. It's decent. It's something something that I can listen to that doesn't make me sit there and go, okay, this is getting extremely repetitive and I'm bored with it, and I'm not listening to this song again. It's a decent song, but again, it's probably for me, it's one of the worst songs on the album.
So I'm not gonna say it's one of the worst songs. Like I said, there's a lot of this album that's very much just kind of there for me. It makes me feel bad. I mean, there's a lot to really remember about it, but at the same time, it's really a lot about like a lot of highlights and then just a lot of lights. But I feel like the bass work on this album, but on this song in particular, really kind of helps float this song along. I feel like that makes it catchy enough to where I'll listen to it again. Like, you know, if I put my computer on shuffle, this song comes up, I'll be like, fuck yeah, you know. It's not a long song. It's not.
This is one I think that we were thinking of that gets heavy at the end.
It was because it gets a lot heavier.
Yeah, I'm looking at I taking my notes there earlier today. Blabbermouth.net. Okay, I want to read this quote here for this song. Okay, and I quote: "The song erupts into an orgasm of broiling funk punk and rocks the hell out the remainder of the ride." So, I believe that kind of confirms my suspicions.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, like I said, this song here, I liked it. I thought it was pretty well done. It was nicely produced, at least. It was catchy. I'll say that. It's one that, like I said, I'd listen to it again. I think it's at least worth that. But from there, we'll go from one reference to another. We'll go from separation anxiety to everybody's favorite quote from a Pixar movie, The Kind of Shame. They had it.
Tone of Shame, man. What the fuck was the gurgling?
What?
Did you hear like in the middle of that song, like right before we stopped it, like as the guy's talking, I don't know if it's a cat, if it's like supposed to be somebody like getting killed or something like that, but you can hear like some kind of like gurgling, scary sounding kind of shit going on. I have no idea what it is, but I've listened to the album 5 times and I've sat there and go, what the hell? I can't fit this shit that's going on in the background with these lyrics at all. So I assume it's either a big ass cat that's like purring or growling, or somebody getting like their throat slit. How's that?
Yeah, as you were talking, I was listening to it, and I'm like, what is that? I do not know.
I don't know either, man.
I think we have a conundrum.
Well, I'll send a tweet out to Matt. Find out what the hell's going on. Mike,
there we go.
Is his name Mike or Matt? I'm gonna get it right here.
It's definitely Mike.
What's your buddy's name, Ken?
Kevin.
Kevin. All right. See, I've got names going just everywhere tonight. Don't tell Kevin I got his name wrong. All right. He might hurt.
God. The only thing he could hurt is himself.
What a weird feel to the beginning of this song. It almost feels, my opinion on this song. It's exactly what I fucking wrote, dude. It feels like a fucking Western. Like you're sitting there listening to some guy walk down the... Tumbleweed just blew by at the beginning of that song. I mean, that's what just fucking happened in my house. That's the imagery that this song gets. And of course, I wanted to make sure I played it to where it got heavy, because that definitely makes the song for me. And again, this is a song that I definitely enjoy. I don't enjoy usually stuff at the beginning like that, as slow as it is, but which I coined that, by the way. Did you see? I coined, of course, it's probably got a whole different term that I'm not aware of. I'm calling it the heavy metal swerve. All right, and that's where. Metal. Are you ready? The heavy metal swerve, where they start the song out all nice and slow, and I specifically stated Ice Earth is definitely prominent with the heavy metal swerve, because it starts all nice and slow, and then all of a sudden, boom, the shit hits the fan. This definitely has the heavy metal swerve, in my opinion.
I don't really know the term to use for that, but yeah, like they do it a lot. Nevermore does it a whole lot.
I'm not familiar with that.
You'd like Nevermore. They're really good. That's where Jeff Loomis came from.
Oh, really?
He has a lot of good solo stuff, and he just joined Arch Enemy, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He is super duper talented.
That dude, yeah, he can fucking shred, man.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the band he was mostly known for. They're a whole lot of fun. But yeah, I can definitely see the heavy metal swerve, like like Dracula by Iced Earth.
Oh my gosh.
I love that song. I sent that to a friend once. He goes, "This reminds me of him." I'm like, wait a minute. He's like, all right. And then he's like, holy shit. I'm like, One of those like, see?
Yep. See?
This is what I've been talking about. Yeah, they do a very good job of hitting said heavy metal swerve.
I mean, it's a Western. Now, this particular song, like we said, it's another genre change. And now, you probably listen to more of their albums than I have. Is that something that you've seen before in the past with their songs, or with their albums? Like, are they all over the place?
They can definitely get avant-garde. They can do some really interesting things.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not nearly as bad as like Mike Patton's other band, Mr. Bungle, which, like I said, scat, and there's like noises, and like Weird. Really weird. Really weird shit. But at least it's a whole lot of fun.
People like that, I mean, music is art. I don't think we're in disagreement there in any way. And it's somebody like this that to me feels like they need to paint so many different pictures with their music. That's kind of neat to see. Granted, I may not like every picture they paint, but it's neat to see somebody actually go out there and okay, I'm going to try this, and I'm going to try that, and I'm going to try this. And the good thing about it is this guy's probably, he's probably very happy that he's able to have definitely that income coming in from Epic, but he's got the money to be able to do stuff like that on the side. But it's got to be fun to be able to go and say, okay, well, today I'm gonna do a jazz, scat, skiddy bebop doo bop dee song, and then tomorrow I'm gonna go into the studio and record heavy metal. So that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, today I'm gonna bring out my accordion and play it with my butt.
And I will sell 1 million records.
Six people in the state of Iowa will buy this record.
The old accordion butt. I haven't seen that in a while.
I don't think I've ever seen it. That's the beauty of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just use the words beauty, accordion, butt in the same sentence. I'm a really beauty. So yeah.
Winner.
Yeah. So Current of Shame. That's a solid song. It's got some nice moments. I like the old heavy metal swerve with the tweet. There you go. Yeah. So it was a good song. Yeah. So from there, I have absolutely no references to make for this next song. The 6th track, Rise of the Fall. You got anything? No references to make?
Rise of the Fall. It sounds like it's contradicting itself. I'll just put that out there.
I think it has something to do with autumn.
No. All right, Rise of the Fall. Cooper.
With accordion butt. Because there was accordion in that.
There was some accordion in there. I mean, okay, genre. Give us a genre here. I mean, we hear accordion. I've seen it called. I've seen people referencing it as fucking reggae. Would you agree with reggae? First off, are you very familiar with? Do you listen to a whole lot of reggae? It's the same. I almost made that noise before I asked the question.
Listening to it, what it reminds me of, actually, the beginning kind of reminds me very much of, something like Epic or From Out of Nowhere, that kind of alternative metal sound. That's what I was thinking. But a lot of what I'm hearing with the accordion really reminds me of stereotypical, like Italian music, or or maybe France. Something.
That's for sure.
Yeah, something. I'm thinking of Italy. Yeah, Italy. I was thinking it sounds very Italian. I'm thinking it's just the accordion's probably doing that for me. But that's kind of what I'm hearing with it. But I will say one thing: if this album is anything, it is at least musically interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, we could say all the things we want about this album, but it is definitely a musically interesting album.
Yeah, it doesn't get. It's not like. Okay, you guys have a term that you use or a phrase where, that's an Epicus song. After a while listening to like 7 or 8 tracks off of an album, you're like, okay, we've heard this on track 3. It just feels monotonous. And this album definitely is not monotonous in any way. I don't get that from this album at all.
No. Well, see, the problem usually with like children, I always called it like Children of Bodom Syndrome, because that was a great album. That was just a really bad album to do a track by track breakdown of, because it was kind of like every song is very similar, but like as a whole it's great. But what more can you say on like 10 songs of like very similar things when you don't have a whole lot of like lyrical content or interesting background information or anything substantial other than the music itself, which kind of speaks for itself. There's a few albums where we just a year where we're just like, that was the album. Like, what stood out from it? Well, it did this and that, and then Mark's like, yep, and then we go on. This album is definitely not like that. This album is very much so like, it kind of has a feeling of, that was a song, but at the same time you can go, what was in that song? And you can kind of break apart like ideas and musical phrases and stuff that you can look at and go, okay, this is what they were doing. I mean, lyrically, looking at a lot of this, I'm just like, I don't really see a whole lot in it.
I feel you there.
Musically, it is. I'd say they do a great job, an outstanding job of making at least a well-constructed, well-crafted song.
Yeah, they don't. Not one song stands out to me as like, oh hell yeah, that's the jam. Like I can rank them in my certain way, but it's not like, oh man, that song is just freaking awesome. They're songs just like you said, but each song stands out apart from the other. And I'm sure that was probably this guy's goal going into it. Obviously, with the range that we've been hearing all over the place, and we ain't done either. I think we're going to do a couple more genre changes here with a couple of the next couple songs. What's the next one coming up? Because I think it's going to be dope.
Black Friday.
That is not Megadeth, folks. This is Faith No More.
Yeah.
You ready?
Well, see, that would be Good Morning Black Friday.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Good Morning Black Friday.
And remember, you spell it like it's a bad day.
Mourning.
Yep.
Bad stuff. Now this one, I'll play it when you're ready here, and then we'll talk about it.
Hey, you can go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Twisting your arm and your eye. You will buy.
Batman. I don't know why every time I heard "Buy It," I was thinking Batman.
Batman. I sent you a picture on Facebook, okay, of what this song reminds me of. Right? That is what goes through my mind every single time this song starts.
I could definitely see that. Pulp Fiction.
Yes, for our listeners out there, I sent Robert a picture of Uma Thurman and John Travolta getting down in Pulp Fiction. That classic dance scene. That's what it feels like. It almost feels like this song came from the 70s, dude. That's just kind of the feel I get.
I could definitely see it. It's a fun song. That's one thing I got from it. It was I like the songs that are more of the at least have more of the upbeat tone to them. That's kind of what I was looking for from the Faith No More album here. But really, I mean, hey, listen, there's no losers in this album. I'll say that.
Mhm.
And
you think Black Friday? I know. What do you immediately think of if you're not thinking metal? First off, what do you think
of Black Friday? Because I think that's what the song's about.
Yeah. At first I was like, certainly this guy's not talking about Black Friday and people going out on the day after Thanksgiving. Oh well, you look at those lyrics, and that's what it very well seems like to me. Do you agree?
I can definitely see it. That's I think it's inspired by Black Friday at least, and all the good mourning that goes on in Black Friday.
All the retail people that are suffering.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a chorus of "Buy It," he's yelling "Buy It" all the time. That was what I first. Now, granted, the rest of these lyrics really don't get in. I mean, I don't know. It seems like a very commercialized, commerce. All the zombies walk on Black Friday. There are some lyrics in here that really leave me. Well, there's some lyrics on this whole album that leave me scratching my head. That final verse there. It's a riot at the salad bar. Predatory lenders. Safari mission is far. What the hell does that mean? Safari mission is far, but you paid for it.
I guess safari mission, like you're hunting.
Okay. And then so maybe they wrote this wrong. They've had to have got that.
Safari mission is far, but you paid for them to kill your mom.
I don't know, man. I don't understand.
I don't know.
I'm scratching my head. But
I can see what they were aiming for. I'll say that. But
okay.
It's like I said, it's a funny song. I think so. But
yeah,
it's still a fun song, I'd say.
I agree.
You could see what they were looking for.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it felt like a little bit of a genre change. There's a weird thing that he does with there's some instruments in here where the claps kind of sound like echoes, but I don't know if those are actually echoes or if it's an actual instrument that's playing along with him clapping. I hear songs like this and I start trying to dissect what the hell is going on in the background of him singing or whatever. It just makes it that much more interesting to me. But definitely not a song I hate. It's actually, I think it's a decent one. Gets you grooving.
Yeah. It definitely does a good job of that. I'd say that. Yeah. I think that's all I really have to think about for that one. Was this show set for 90 minutes or an hour?
We got 1:25 left on live time right now.
Okay. Well, if you are listening to this thing live, God bless you. And if you're not, still, God bless you. It's really nice to have people listening. It makes this all worth it. The smiles of your faces, because unlike what I say with my normal job, where I say, well, hey, shit, at least they're paying me. Here they don't pay me. So I do it for out of the kindness of my ass.
That's right.
Because that's where I pull everything out of.
Yeah, I won't be asking you for a pin anytime soon.
Don't worry, I have some in my vest at work. Okay. So from Good Morning Black Friday, we have what I say when I'm in a really bad mood. I say motherfucker, which is a really douchey thing to name your song, I think.
It's the most prevalent word. All right, you ready?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
You ready to fuck them others?
Force-fed more than we'd eat in the wild, grazed on a mash that could suffocate a child, bloated, promoted in an ode to pomp and style, moistening the feed while we choke upon the bile, cornering the market on the geese without the bones, hushing out the public in a strike without a drone. The cage became collapsible, our sticks equipped with stones. Get the motherfucker on the phone, the phone. 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 Hello, motherfucker. My lover, you saw it coming. Set aside the scruples in a stratagem of strain, a smallpox-laden blanket, invisible with stains, inoculating bastards, bloody picket pain. His temper has a hold, his temper has a hold. We took the second sip from a cup we made of bones. The first sip was a ruse, a trick so aptly thrown. The truth is that our youth was a carpet laid in stones. Get the motherfucker on the phone, the phone. Get the motherfucker on the phone.
Phone's ringing, Coop.
I wonder what they're trying to say. Yes. Oh, you should get that motherfucker on the phone. I see. It's for you.
Oh, shit. The concerts that these guys have from here on out, that song will be played. At least, I mean, it's got to be guaranteed from here on out at any concert, at any Faith No More concert. That is the chant of the decade.
It's definitely, I will say that it is a definitely, it's a very catchy song. It's like cholera.
No. That sounds like that doesn't sound too flattering there. But again, definitely. I sent you guys a message first time I listened to this album. That was the song I was like, okay, I'm using this at some point here at some point during the day. And I'll probably never listen to this album more than a couple more times after we cover it tonight. That will probably be the song I most remember.
Yeah, I'm not one that typically. Well, I take that back. I revisit albums. I used to revisit albums a lot back when I used to write all the time. But now I really find myself revisiting like the same kind of like the albums that I really, really come to love. Like I always revisit those. And I'll say I probably won't revisit this one a ton, but that's not necessarily anything. That's not as much against this album as it just is. Well, there's so much for me to do. Why would I go and re-listen to the same thing over and over? So in the car, I listen to the same things over and over because I have a big CD collection. I love my CD collection. But yeah, this is well, I'm not gonna say this song is necessarily the catchiest in terms of an actual song, but as a anthem of sorts, something that you can listen to and really get to love. I think it does a very good job of having those qualities.
Yeah. I was looking at. I sent you a link to the Faith
I was
No More
reading that.
2.0.
I was reading that, and I'm like, I would have never gotten that.
Exactly, dude. I mean, if that's actually how this, well, again, this is some guy that's just kind of throwing stuff out.
Yeah, I'm about to say it might be some guy that's just like, oh, of course, yeah.
Mhm.
So some guy trying to pull something out of nothing.
No, what I get from this song is get the motherfucker on the phone. But it seems like there could be a lot of shit that this guy's talking about. I get the whole commercial thing that this guy's referencing where, he's saying that it's a song against commercialism. It sounds like that's the first thing he shoots at right at the beginning. It's how commercialized our society is. But and then there's other theories to what's going on in the song. But yeah, get the motherfucker on the phone.
I think that's an anthem we can all kind of sing to, to getting said motherfucker on said phone.
If you're ever late to a podcast again, guess what I want to tell Mark to say?
Get the motherfucker on the phone. That would be a very very good reference. I would be proud. All right. So from the motherfucker and his phone, called the motherfucker. I just remembered Kick-Ass 2 was a thing. That movie was.
I have not watched that.
It was okay.
A-okay. I have not watched it. I watched the first one. Never watched the second.
I really liked the first one. The second one, the humor went from being kind of that sly sort of, how the first one was.
Mm-hmm.
It had a bit to it, and the second one had more stuff like, throw up and just kind of cruder stuff.
Oh, more crude shit, yeah.
It's a little bit of a disappointment, but I mean, it's okay. I'm gonna have to watch it one of these days, just so I can say I have. There you go. Well, from the motherfucker to look at him waggle, the bull's twerking, the bullet's twerking waggle, the Matador. I had to get
Matador.
It have made El Torito proud.
I'm sorry I cut you off with the song there. You were in the middle of talking there at the beginning. Man, for this song, again, piano takes the center stage. I can't say this is one that really stood out to me as something, this might be one of the bottom tier songs on my list for the album. What are your thoughts, man?
It's kind of one of those there songs. It's enjoyable, and it's one of those that I could definitely listen to again, but I won't say that it's necessarily, like, super memorable, if that makes any sense. It's one of those, like, oh, that's nice. Don't really come back to it. But it wasn't a bad song by any stretch of the imagination, I felt. It was just kind of there. Unfortunately, like I said, I feel like this album kind of does suffer from that. Like, if you're a fan of the band and you really love the band, like, you're gonna still be pretty happy with something like this. But
you think? I mean, 20 years close to 20 years have passed. Do you think that blinds people a little bit? That okay, my band has finally dropped an album after this long. Like, no matter how bad it could be, those fans would love it no matter what. You think there's people out there like that?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Like, you're going to have those people that are like, oh, Transformers. Let's say, fuck it. Well, I mean, let's look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie. Like, was it a good movie? I guess. It was there. They had some certain things really right and certain things really wrong. But I'll bet you there are people that were just so happy to see the Ninja Turtles on the big screen again that they just acted like it was the fucking Ark of the Covenant.
Well, Black Sabbath. You guys covered Black Sabbath. I'm sure that you remember that.
I remember that podcast, and Sean probably remembers that podcast, and Mark probably was just like,
Yeah.
That was that podcast. Damn it, Mark.
He didn't give it a chance. He didn't give it a chance.
Hey, I got that album for $1 at a pawn shop.
Hey, pawn shops, man. We've talked. How long ago was it we talked? I said I hadn't got to one. Still ain't got to one yet. I'm gonna have to make it a point. I'm gonna have to make it a point to get out there and hit Parkersburg, go to the pawn shop. Just because I remember, like, every once in a while. I did, by the way, go to the Goodwill and look for some CDs. They didn't have shit. Just to let you know.
Yeah. The thing that's kind of annoying about it is like, it really depends on where you're going to. Or, like, keep the demographics from around there. Like, some of them I find a lot of rap stuff, a lot of hip-hop, and another one I'll find tons of country. And usually people dump their classical there. But, metal's really kind of hard to find. I still think my favorite find ever there. Well, I'm not going to say my favorite find, or like maybe the rarest thing. They had an Into Eternity album. Into Eternity's great. You need to listen to them, by the way. You'd like them. It had Into Eternity, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and Nile.
I recognize one of those bands.
You don't recognize Nile?
No, Nile's something I've never heard of.
Nile's a death metal band, and I think it's their guitarist is a certified Egyptologist.
Wow.
He can run museum exhibits on Egypt, and all their stuff is, of course, about Egypt.
Oh, wow. I'll have to check them out. How's it spelled? I'm guessing Nile, right?
Yeah, like the river.
Like the river. All right. So anyway, we were talking about Black Sabbath. They were off for quite a while before they had released this album with Ozzy, and I wonder about that too. There was a bit of time between the most recent Black Sabbath album, right, and the last one.
Well, technically, the thing that kind of makes it a little fuzzy is that we're kind of talking about like Ozzy Sabbath, because Dio Sabbath, they did an album in 2009. Right.
Okay.
You ever heard it?
I can tell you I probably have not.
they called themselves Heaven and Hell. Dude, that was a tremendous it was tremendous. It was amazing album. It really was. But yeah, for Ozzy Sabbath, it was since what, 79. So yeah, getting them together, that was a big accomplishment. That was really nice. Now my best friend Nick, who won't be listening to this podcast, you fuck. Oh, I love Nick. He's my brother from another mother. Because I would know that because he showed up over here to give me my birthday present. I was over somewhere else, and my mom was like, "May I help you?" So that's how I know he's from another mother. But he was like, album of the year, absolutely loved it, and because he's a huge Ozzy and Sabbath fan. And after listening to it, I was like, it's a good album. And after listening to it again, listening to it on repeat, you kind of get over that new car smell,
Yeah.
And it ended up being, I felt like it was worth the hype. It had a few songs that I was like, okay, these aren't great. And some of the songs did drag for 8-9 minutes, but that doesn't bother me. As long as it's good. That's what I felt. And I felt like that was a good album. It was what I was looking for. It's what I expected. And I felt like they delivered that well enough. And this year, I feel like this album is very much in the same vein. I would kind of put them at that same level of, if you're a fan of that band, or if you're a fan of the band, you're going to love this. You're at least going to like it. And even if you're not a fan of the band, I'm not going to say you're going to walk away from this disappointed or being like, I didn't like that album. Because I'll tell you, I wasn't necessarily blown away by this album. Because maybe on a few future listens, let's say I listened to this as many times as you have. I've listened to it twice. I found out, actually, I don't know if you play on your computer much, but if you get the game Audio Surf, you ever heard of that?
No, huh?
Audio Surf is what it does, is it takes music files and it generates almost like, like a Guitar Hero, like, a pattern like Guitar Hero. And you use your mouse and you ride them, and you control this ship and you ride along with the music trying to get, like, depending on which mode you choose, like my favorite one is mono, where you have colored blocks and non-colored blocks, and you're dodging the non-colored ones, trying to get the highest score you can. So it's like you're playing along. It's turning the music into a game. It really kind of helps it get into your head, because you're paying attention. It's interactive. It's entertaining. It's exciting. So something like that. So let's say I've played this album a few more times on there. Maybe I would come away from this with something that's a little more than the way I'm kind of looking at this album. The way I look at it now is I'm like, this is a lot of good musical ideas. It's really interesting. And let's say I want to kick back for the night and just want something chill. I might choose something to put on from this album to put on the playlist. It does a good job of being that, being something that could be easy listening or could be, easy listening for me, should I say.
Sure. Well, yeah. That was kind of, I'll ask you this question and we can get into the last song. With this album, would you consider it metal?
No.
Okay.
Not as a whole. It's got elements of metal, and as a band, some things when let me look at Facebook here. What are they considered? I think they're considered more of like an alternative metal / like kind of just like straight up rock band. Yeah, they're alternative metal, experimental metal, funk metal. Yeah, I could see that. But on this album, it's kind of like let's say for example Opeth, their past two albums have been more or less like a mix of like progressive rock and maybe one or two beats of metal. Do I still consider Opeth a metal band? I do, because historically that's what they've written, but at this point they're kind of skewing towards rock. So let's see, this is actually something I do quite a bit. I'm like, hey girl, I like metal. I like you. You want to listen to metal? Sure. I don't start them off with Death Crush by Mayhem or, something like a satanic speed metal by Destroyer 666 or even like Woods of Ypres, which I don't know if you ever listened to that album I sent you, but you needed to.
Oh, dude, I totally forgot about it, man. I remember you sending it to me, and I was like, I've got to listen to these guys. And what I need to do is I'll put it on I got to put it on the
Spotify.
Put it on my playlist right now.
Yeah, because them, and if you want to look up Throssenblatt, who I told Mark, that's the band I keep mentioning every time Mark mentions Limp Bizkit. Those are actually, I've considered, like, next time we have, like, let's say Mark needs a sanity day off. Those are the two albums I've been like, we need to review this as, like, just kind of I want to review it, goddammit. Yeah, but, it was like, what do you I'm not going to send them something like, let's see, like wet leather, something that's, like, really kind of heavy and in your face. I'm going to send them something like Finality, which is really soft and melodic and really kind of like hits you right in the heart. You start them off with something from a metal band that's not necessarily metal. I would say that Faith No More still kind of skew metal enough to where if you want to be a metalhead and be like, yeah, this is a metal album. Like, for example, when I did those top 50 lists, I don't know if you ever read my top 50 lists, but they're kind of the reason I don't write anymore. Well,
comprehensive is the word. Comprehensive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, well, 300-word blurbs per album will really kill you in 3 weeks. Well, it's because I'm me, because I can't shut up. But
because
yeah,
I'm me.
Well, because I'm me, I can't shut my mouth. Though I've really been wanting to get back writing. It's just I'm so swamped. Oh Lord, sweet zombie Jesus. I work 30 hours a week. I got a full-time school schedule, and I still want to do things for fun. So, I'll get back to writing. But when I did that list, 2012, my number one album was Clockwork Angels by Rush. Was that a metal album? Kind of. Like there were definitely like Headlong Flight. I would say that is there were metal songs on there. There were songs I would say that are fairly metal. They're pretty good. Are Rush a metal band? Not really, but I can argue. And people were like, "How the fuck can you put that as number one? They're not even metal." I'm like, okay, I have 4 hard rock albums in here, but really, like, I like it. I think it's got enough chops to consider being a metal album. There's no really don't argue.
Yeah.
Which is funny because that Would You pre-album I think was 20 on that list, and if I redid that list today, that would be number one definitely. Well, because I have listened to that album probably 30 times since then. Just it goes on a loop in my car. Whenever I'm feeling down, that's my album. But I feel like this Faith No More album, I'm going to be a great teacher because this is the way I teach things. I go on this really long-winded tangent that totally has everything to do with it because I wrap it all up in a bow.
It's beautiful.
It is. It's very eloquent. And by eloquent, I mean it just keeps going on and on. It's like the Energizer Bunny snorted a line of coke off a hooker's ass.
Use that in the classroom.
Yes, I will. I will be king of the world. But I think Faith No More, they still kind of constitute as a metal band if you really want to try and force it. But this album was not really a metal album. I would say this is kind of experimental, kind of like an experimental rock album. I'm not going to say progressive because it's not like a Dream Theater album where it just kind of goes on with instrumentals and stuff. No, it's very experimental because it uses a lot of different world cultures and folk and just kind of different sort of sounds and throws them all together in one big old bucket of all these different grapes. And the band decided to step all in it and squash in it and muddy up the feet some, and we got a nice one of that. I'd say it's what we got,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Here.
Here. Well, definitely, dude. I mean, that's the absolute impression that I get. I mean, like I said right at the beginning, this thing spans a lot of genres, and coming back from 18 years off of their, from the last album that they dropped. Imagine the pressure. I would feel a huge amount of pressure to come up with an album to try and please my fans. Now, whether they looked at it like that, I don't know. But that would be one of the first things. I would be so critical of what I was going to be putting on the album. And we've already said that none of these songs extremely, it's not like they really stand out to us. And me, I'm a guy who's not listened to one full Faith No More album ever up until the last few days. So for me to listen to this album as a completely new person to the band and understanding what they've done in the past, it's done a great job. It's not made me hate them. It's not like I'm it's not like I'm sitting there going, well, this is an album that I'm going to stay far away from. That's further from the truth. I can't wait to hear. Have they released a single off this album on the radio that you're aware of? I'm curious. I didn't know.
Well, they definitely can't release Motherfucker.
Well, what's strange is that I swear that it said that was one of the singles, but it could. There's no way.
It was.
Is it?
Yeah, Motherfucker was released. Actually, I remember this because Kevin posted it. Actually, it was for Record Store Day for Black Friday last year. They released it as a single. But what I think was Superhero was their second single, and it said it was debuted on BBC Radio 1's Rock Show. But I will tell you, I do not really listen to the radio here, because I'll tell you the 6 stations that my channel's on. 88.5. 88.5 is the local NPR station. I can get it in a parking deck. The signal's so good. And it has 91.5, which is the other NPR station, because 88.5 plays like the basic stuff, but it doesn't play anything past like 8 p.m. 91.5 plays stuff like the British shows. So when I'm going home at 1 a.m. from work, that's what I listen to. Then I have Rock 92, that's a classic rock station. My buddy Nick showed me a station out of Charlotte. It's called 95.7. They're a independent rock station. They play like deep cuts, and like every Sunday he told me it's called the Acoustic Storm every Sunday night, and it's 2 hours of pure acoustic.
Nice.
Yeah, like they're awesome. Then I have like the 2 modern rock stations, which are both okay. Like apparently they played Symphony Destruction on one of those stations the other day. I'm like, wow.
And the crowd went wild.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God. You mean to tell me it wasn't Theory of a Dead Man?
Jeez.
God, I hate Theory of a Dead Man. I love Mark. I don't know how he listens to some of these bands.
I used to be a fan of those guys, but it's
Me
again,
too. And then I got out of
shoved down your throat. And sometimes it just, the taste gets a little old, and that's one thing. Again, I've praised this show a lot because I'm introduced to a lot of different bands. I've become a fan of so many different bands just by listening to this podcast. Blind Guardian is probably one of my favorite. I know I've told you, and I'm going to tell our listeners out there. Blind Guardian is probably one of my favorite albums that you guys have talked about on this podcast. Something I never even knew existed up until I heard it on here.
Yeah. You haven't even heard the best of Blind Guardian album there is.
You're talking about the one about the Cimmerian or whatever the hell it is?
The Cimmerian, yeah. That one's good. I mean, they've got a lot of really good albums, but that one's my favorite because it managed to make the Cimmerian interesting.
Very cool.
Cool. So if you're into Lord of the Rings,
check it out. Check it out for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I was trailing off there. Motherfucker was the first single. That is the single that they released. That blows my mind. But anyway, we got one more song to go, dude.
We do, and then we get to do our usual thing, which we get to kind of just
plugs for like half an hour.
Well, actually, see, funny thing is I haven't been on anything because the one gaming podcast I'm on, they either don't have a show or I'm at work.
It's true. I hear you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's working, man.
That's retail. Actually, that's retail right there. Because I don't help the Mexicans out of the truck.
That's what I was gonna say. It's Mexicans coming out the border or coming across the border, dude.
Well, see, I stopped helping them over the border. Now I am helping them get their mulch.
Well, you, my friend, are a activist. We'll just call you that. You're helping them out. I'm so glad. And there are many people out there that speak Spanish are also very glad for you, sir.
I'm sure they do. Even though I admit there's a few times I've been like, what? Like, I'm usually really good. Like, this is really funny. I was at the Sheetz gas station, which is I don't know if do they have any up there in Ohio?
South, you go down to West Virginia, you'll see some Sheetz. Yeah.
They have really good food there, which is funny because it's a gas station.
The wrestlers are always talking about it. I always see them guys posting, the independent guys stopping at a Sheetz, and they rave about it.
Yeah, the food's really good. They've got good deals. But anyways, sitting there at a Sheetz with my buddy, this black guy's probably, I'm going to guess he's about 65, maybe 70. He's talking to this lady at her car, and he's excited. You know he's excited. And we're like, I was like, damn, he's gonna put her in a second. She's gonna get her a second handicap sticker on that car, and he's done. And he walks by. I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, I see you having a good night. He's like, yeah, man. He's done. He's like, man, I'm done with those fucking broke bitches. He's like, I don't even care about the personality anymore. I'm getting old. I'm gonna die. I just want something nice to look at. It doesn't bitch too much. But I'm tired of the broke bitches. And, like, my friends are kind of like, yeah, man. When he walks off, they're like, I understood a third of that. I'm like, well, I go to the historically black college. So I have some, I have me some.
Let me translate for you, please.
I did. They're like, oh, Coop, did you bring your English Ebonics translator? I'm like, yes, I did. Because then I repeated everything he said, and they're like, oh, he said that? Yep. Oh, shit. That dude was a hoot. Like, we high-fived him as he walked by. We're like, you're a hero, man.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it was the best. But anyways, last song. Speaking of old people fucking, this has nothing to do with old people fucking. I know. I have the absolute worst segues. God. My Segway is so bad. My Segways are so bad. It's like the one that killed the owner of Segway.
That was a good one.
You remember that story?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, that's bad shit.
That one made my life. I was so. It's kind of sad how amused I am at a guy falling to his death off a cliff, but. There's something to there's just something to life about the irony of the guy who just bought the company falling to his death because the dumbass doesn't know how to ride what he just bought.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but anyways, speaking of dead people, here's the final track off of Soul Invictus and the end of our rabbit trail for the evening. Here is From the Dead.
From the Dead. That's a way to end an album.
See, personally, I was just amused at the way that we worked in that fade out because that worked perfectly. Like, didn't that kind of feel like do you ever play Fallout 3?
Oh, yes, dude. Which, by the way, have you seen the news?
I've heard the news, Fallout 4. You know what's funny? I've only played about 20 hours of Fallout 3, and I made a melee character, and he absolutely blows, so I've never gotten very far in Fallout 3.
Man, great game. What was you going to say?
I know. But I was going to say, it reminded me of, you know, in that game, like the radio just kind of tune in and out after sometimes. It kind of reminded me of that. And it had a very similar feel to, oh God, what is this monster? It kind of reminded me of, let's say like a 70s rock song or something, you know. Maybe one of the more of the soft rock sort of thing. Because
dude, I was leaning country. That's scary.
I can see that.
But
I hate country.
I was leaning that way, really, to be honest. And granted, it's got way more rock flavor than it's definitely not, you know, twangy twang twang. But it just felt that little bit to me. And the drums or whatever, it sounded like a little bit of a. Again, we say Western. There's a Western, Southwestern feel to these songs, to a few of these songs. And that's a little bit of what I got.
Yeah, Southwestern. It reminded me very much of Sean Comer.
Representing Arizona.
Yeah. Sean. I need to send him that T-shirt. It's sitting on my computer desk. I just keep forgetting to send it.
What is it? Oh, it's the.
I got that Nightwish shirt. I love Mark's reaction to that. Mark, like, you're buying things for my co-host and not for me. I'm like, I didn't know you like Nightwish that much, Mark. I love Nightwish. Well, shit.
Oh, goodness. Well, his birthday is coming around, I think, from what I hear.
Oh, boy.
Actually, it's over with, so you got a whole year.
I didn't actually wish him a happy birthday today, did I? Oops.
Hey, we did it on the podcast.
There we go. God, I'm an asshole. Sorry, I just randomly was on Facebook and a friend of mine posted a picture of a baby seal because, you know, the thing of I'm going to fill up Facebook with pictures of baby animals, and my response was, anybody want to go clubbing? Yeah, but, yeah, where was I? I don't remember. But,
good
yeah, we were
ending
talking
to
about,
an album, would you agree?
I would say so. Yeah, we were talking about kind of the what this album was doing here. I felt like it was doing a really good job of, especially this song in particular, of kind of picking a style and going as far as they can with it. Because a lot of this album was them taking a style, kind of running with it, and then seeing where they could go. That's kind of what I get the feeling from this album, and I like that. I like that it kind of felt ambitious, because I'm not going to say this was a album that was made to be popular, because, I mean, it sold that many copies because it's a popular band. They have a big fan base. I mean, you know, look at a band like, you know, like Amon Amarth. You know, they got about that same chart positioning, believe it or not. Yeah, they got about the same chart positioning, and really it was, like, if you look at it in the same lens that you would a popular music album, I would say that they made a goal and they strived for it and they succeeded. You know, a lot of music, let's say like a Pitbull. Oh, Pitbull. Well, what does he do? Okay, well, his goal is to sell a lot of records, make a lot of money, and talk about how he sells a lot of records and makes a lot of money and travels the world and has the bitches. He succeeds. This album, you know, like Amon Amarth. Amon Amarth, Vikings, Odin, Battle. There you go. There's your album. That they succeed in that. Faith No More, what I think they decided to do is they sat down and said, you know what, we want to make the album we want to make, and they did. This album is exactly what I feel like they wanted to do. It's not too heavy, but at the same time, it's got enough heaviness in it to kind of remind you that they did metal once, and it's got enough they got enough influence from around the world and different styles and genres of music going. I feel like they succeeded in maybe even introducing a few people to maybe some new stuff. I felt like this was not necessarily a great album. I'm gonna say it was a successful album. I've never used that term before. I just kind of think of it as like, it wasn't necessarily what I was wanting to listen to at the moment, but it did a good job of convincing me that I at least didn't waste my time.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I echo the same sentiments, to be honest. And I said most of what I felt there prior to that last song. First time listener to the album, and I wasn't let down. But then again, it's not like I'm running and saying, "Oh my gosh, you've got to hear this album." Those are words that are not coming out of my mouth. But again, I'm not a big fan of the band. So for anybody out there that's not listened to Faith No More or is just familiar with their best songs, if you have the opportunity to listen to it, I'd suggest it. I mean, my feeling is that you're not going to be totally disappointed. That's my best assessment. Now, before we get out of here, Coop, I want to do one thing real quick. It won't take but a couple minutes, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. 1997, we've already covered this a few times. This is the last time that they released an album, okay? So I hopped I'm on Sputnik Music. I don't know if you're familiar with that website.
I've heard of it.
Okay, well, I pulled up the best metal albums of 1997. Okay.
Ooh, I really hope Deceased Fearless Undead Machines is on that list.
I'm gonna just do the top 10, and you tell me. I'll give you band name and I'll give you album title. You tell me if it's anybody you've heard of. Thumbs up, thumbs down if you have. Okay.
Okay, here we go.
All right. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to have very big problems pronouncing these names because number 10, this has got to be international here, buddy. Number 10 is a band by the name of Mythotin, and the album is In the Sign of the Ravens.
How do you spell that?
M like Mary, I, T like Tom, H, O, T like Tom, Y, N like Nancy. Mythotin? I hope I'm reading it. I assume that is the name. Yeah, that's the name of the band. No idea?
No, I'm trying to. You say it was M-I-S-H-O-T?
M-I-T. Myth. Like myth, but with an I.
Oh, so myth with an I?
Yeah, see, this thing's got it.
Oh.
Recognize that album at all?
Ooh, okay, yeah, I've never heard of these guys.
Okay, this is 97.
Yeah, they're a Viking metal band, which is one of my favorite genres.
Oh boy. Now, granted, the way that they got this, they got it sorted by rating. I wish I had it sorted by amount of votes because
let me see what
that would probably bring the more popular ones to the top.
Well, that album, oh wow, that album in Metal Archives has 71. Huh.
Is that a good or a bad?
71's not. Well, it's two 80% ratings and a 50, so it's not bad. I'll definitely look into this band though.
All right, well that's number 10. Number 9 of the best albums according to Sputnik Music, 1997. Symphony X with The Divine Wings of Tragedy.
Yay, Symphony X.
Not familiar with that band? That's somebody I'm not. Is that a thumbs up, thumbs down from you?
Yeah, they're progressive power metal. It's kind of what they are. Oh yeah, I don't think I've actually listened to this album. I've never listened to it, but it's got a 96% on Metal Archives. That's really hard to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does have 1,140 votes, so it's obviously popular.
Yeah, they're touring this fall with Overkill.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
I bet that's a fun show.
Yeah. Hey, let me see if they're coming near you. I think you'd like them.
Give them a shot. With moving on to number 8 here, a band by the name of Lacrimosa, and their album is Still, Stille.
Say Black Hair Mosa?
Lacra. L like llama, A, C like Charlie, Rimosa. I've never heard of the band. They got 15 votes, but somehow it's got a 4.27 rating. So obviously the average is very skewed with the less amount of votes. Probably 15 people that have heard of the band.
You said Lacrimosa?
Lacrimosa.
Like Remosa?
Rimosa. Here. Tell you what. I know you're on Facebook, so I'll send it to you. Here it comes.
Okay.
Send it to your messenger.
See. Oh, let's see. So that tour is coming to. They're coming to Cleveland.
Are they?
I don't know how far you are from Cleveland.
About 3 hours, but that's where Blind Guardian's going to be in November. So.
Yeah, September 22nd. What day is that? That is a Tuesday. Nope. It's a Tuesday. Symphony X and Overkill. That's going to be a great one.
It'll be interesting. All right, so Lacrimosa. Never heard of Lacrimosa.
Oh, Lacrimosa. See, I was spelling that like like you're lacking something.
With a K?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're not even in Metal Archives, so.
Okay. So skewed by the votes. I'm just going to go with anybody here in the top 10 over 100 votes. So number 7.
Oh, hold on. What was the album called? Still, Stille. They're kind of on Wikipedia. They're all still. Okay, yeah. It's a gothic metal album. Okay. Yeah, never heard of them. I'll have to put them on the old bookmarks. Okay, what's next?
Gamma Ray, Somewhere Out in Space.
Ooh, Gamma Ray. Yeah, that's a good album. That's a great one.
Thumbs up. I'm skipping number 6. I mean, I'll tell you the name. It's got 14 votes, but again, it's Syntonex. I'll just go ahead and copy and paste that one for you because that clearly needs Syntonex with a C. Like centipede, but Syntonex.
I might have heard of them. I feel like I've seen that name before.
Okay. It's 14 votes. Like I said, that's probably not going. I ain't going to count that.
Yeah. Let's see. Reflections. I've heard of them, but I've never heard of them. I don't know any of their music.
That's number 6 on this list. Number 5 is a band by the name of Esoteric, the Pernicious Enigma.
Esoteric. Let's see. No, let's see which album. Ooh, Funeral Death Doom. Ooh.
Funeral Death Doom. That is the name of the genre?
Funeral Doom Metal is the genre. Funeral Doom is doom metal if you think of funeral. So yeah, it's very slow, really heavy, and incredibly depressing.
Okay.
There you go. I'm adding that to the bookmarks. I have like 400 bookmarks on this.
All right. Well, number 4. A lot of votes on this one. Emperor. Anthems to the Welkin at
Dusk. Yeah.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
That's a good one. Like Emperor are kind of funny. They started out really, really good. And they started amazing, and then Anthems was a great one. IX Equilibrium was solid, and then Prometheus was a good album, but it's kind of like they started so high. Like those first 2 are great.
Number 3 on the list, a band by the name of Strapping Young Lad.
Yay! You've heard of Devin Townsend, right?
Yeah, because we're actually going to get to him at number 2.
Because that's his band.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I have this album actually.
Oh, wow.
City.
Yep, that's exactly what it is, City. And number 2 is Devin Townsend with Ocean Machine Biomech.
That is a cool name.
You recognize the album at all? Or is that something you've heard?
No, that is a fucking metal name though.
Ocean Machine Biomech.
Biomech is Godzilla. That's a Sepultura reference.
Nice. All right, number 1. Best metal albums according to Sputnik Music. Godspeed You, Black Emperor. And the name of the album is F pound A pound. Or F hashtag A hashtag. And then in parentheses it says infinity. Have you ever heard of that band? Godspeed You, Black Emperor.
No. You said Godspeed You.
2,787 votes.
Let's look up Godspeed. Okay, music. How do you spell this band?
It's Godspeed You. Here, I'll send it to you. Facebook. Godspeed You, Black Emperor. That's the actual name of the band. I assume.
You, Black Emperor. Who the fuck are these chuckle fucks?
I've never fucking heard of them, dude.
It says they're a post-rock band.
Oh, no. Well, no wonder it might have got some...
They're a drone... Okay, they're like a drone band. Okay.
What does that mean?
Drone is Drone, it's usually instrumental, and it uses a lot of feedback. It uses feedback as an instrument. So imagine, like, the weirdest shit you can think of. Like, Sun O are the biggest drone metal bands that I know of. They have songs that are... It's really kind of creepy and atmospheric. It's really kind of hard to describe. It's almost like a whole bunch of you're like standing you're standing outside a church, and you hear like organs and guitars and feedback and the occasional like wailing of somebody. It's really hard to describe. It's like it's pure sound almost.
Well, I'm gonna have to find a couple of those. I'll have to listen. This one's rated number 1, and it's not like it's got one vote either, man. It's got 2,787 votes, and it's the highest rated 4.5. I guess it's 4.5 out of 5. So I'll have to give it a shot just to hear what fucking drone band.
Yeah, I can send you some. Let me look at what Deceased is. What do they have Deceased at? Fearless and Dead Machines, 3.9 out of 10. Nah, okay, well, it's got a 4.0 from here. Personally, I would put it at a 5, but it's only got a 3.9 out of 5. That's my favorite album. One of my favorite albums from that year, that's for sure. That album is Fearless Undead Machines by Deceased. It's a concept album about pretty much like Dawn of the Dead. It uses clips from it, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have listened to that album every final, at the end of every semester for the past, 3 years. Like, every time I have a...
End of semester playlist.
That album, I put it on a loop when I have a final test or something. Because it's a really good album. I love it. They're a great band. Their singer's good. He's not going to listen to this. Their singer is King Fally. King Fally has amazing amount of knowledge on 80s metal. He just hates everything that came after it. He loves the Go-Go's and the Bangles and Gwen Stefani, but he thinks there was only one good Anthrax album ever, and he doesn't like Megadeth. He's really he seems like a nice enough guy, but he's weird.
A weirdo.
He doesn't like Pantera after power metal because, I kind of agree with what he says. He says them turning their back on their old image is them selling out, which I'm like, okay, I could see that. But yeah, but he's really interesting. I need to create like you a fucking like list, a to-do list, don't I?
Dude, you got Spotify, man. Shoot me a playlist. If you got Spotify, put something together on there and just send me a link to it or whatever. Because I'll fucking listen to it.
All right. Because yeah, I can give you a fucking playlist of everything. Because it's really funny.
Like playlist. The one you created for your the one you created for the fucking the reviews for 2013 or 14.
Yeah.
That's some fucking songs.
Oh yeah, when I did my to-do list for 2014.
There was some. I'm looking at that thing going because I think I still actually have it here somewhere. Yeah.
Well, was it the one that we the ones that we I listened to for the podcast?
It's 2013 by Robert Cooper. Has 2,575 songs. 194 hours.
That's all the albums I didn't listen to.
Oh, that you put that in a playlist.
Yeah, well, I would put it in a playlist and just go through it. Actually, yeah, the best of 2013. That's everything I did listen to. So that would me pick out that's me picking out some 3 to 5 tracks per album and putting them in order as I rank them.
I see it right here. Let me see. I don't think I'm following that. It might be. I don't know. I see it though.
Yeah.
36 hours. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Yeah. I'll create you a list though, because there's.
I'll look out.
Well, yeah. I'll do that when we get done with this, because that's. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at my CD collection now. If I went and just did this through all the CDs I own, you'd be sitting there for a long time.
I'm always looking forward to listening to something new. So you put
there you go.
Something together, I'll listen. I will listen.
I will do it then. I will give you Orphaned Land, and Orphaned Land are that Middle Eastern metal band that I love so much.
I remember that. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, they were the band I was gonna let Mark do instead of Amon Amarth, because I don't know if you remember, but Mark was like, oh, Amon Amarth, whatever. They sound so boring. And then when he saw them in concert, he's like, fuck yeah, we got to do Amon Amarth.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, Coop, I don't know if we got. I mean, how much overrun does it give us? Like an hour?
Yeah, we have 3 minutes, don't we?
We got 3 minutes. I'll do my plugs real quick, and then I'll let you close the show out. Just if you guys get a chance, I'm on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. Do the Monday source material talking comics. You can follow me at Stiznarkey on Twitter or at SourceMattCast. Go check out the Radulich Broadcasting Facebook page. Give it a like. You'll keep up with all the podcasts the Radulich Broadcasting Network brings to you. And I'll finish it at that, man. What do you got to say, Coop?
Well, let's see. In terms of plugs that I have, you have the Cooperative Multiplayer Podcast that is on Spreaker.com/ I think it's Wrestling to the Max, because that's my friend Sean Garmer. He's the one who does that. He's the one who hosts that podcast. He also does a wrestling podcast called Wrestling to the Max. It's usually 4 fucking hours long. They usually review TNA. They do TNA, Raw, Lucha Underground, New Japan. They do everything. I think they even do Ring of Honor sometimes. But yeah, they do. He does a gaming podcast with Mark Morrison, and I'm on there, but I just haven't had the chance. It's called Cooperative Multiplayer. It's a pretty fun podcast. I like it. There's that Sentai Rider podcast. Me and Hunter are going to do something this summer. I swear. I'm going to catch up on everything. Damn it. I'm just